Now, my next guest, Angel Kristi Williams, an award-winning writer and director born and raised in Maryland, West Baltimore. Now, her feature directorial debut, Really Love, has won the special jury recognition for acting at South by Southwest Festival, and she's also received an award of the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, that's the NAACP, for outstanding breakthrough creative and directing for the Netflix limited series, Calling in Black and White. Hello, Angel.
Hello, how are you?
I'm great. I'm even better because I feel like, we always, it's indigenous to global. And one of the best ways to describe that is, just kind of merging our knowledge and our different experiences. I travel as much as, the way you come to visit us in Nigeria is the same way I would visit you in LA or in New York. And I would always find that there's always that bit of culture shock sometimes, especially with the creative space in terms of how you create. And I can imagine that you've had the same experiences since you've been here. So talk to me about what it's been like ever since you came in, specifically for AFRIF, and some shockers you'd be like, oh wow, okay, I really like this, or oh wow, that's a bit shocking.
Yeah, you know what? It's the opposite of culture shock in Lagos for me. When I first visited last year, in the spring, and then I returned for AFRIF, it was like I felt at home. And I was just so inspired by the film community here. And I've already, in just 1 year, have met filmmakers working in Nigeria that I want to collaborate with. Actors that I'm so inspired by that I want to cast in projects. So it's less of a culture shock and more of a I belong here. I need to be here more, so I'm just always finding reasons to return. So it's actually been quite a wonderful experience for me.
Now, of course, with the U.S. consulate, what would you say the bigger picture of this culture exchange is? What would you say the reason for this partnership is?
I would say their mission for what they want to do, which is creating this bridge between Nigerians in the creative industry, specifically in film, I'm a filmmaker, with American filmmakers, is exactly the real thing that I'm feeling, which is I'm meeting people that inspire me by the work that they're making, and we're sharing across boundaries, both knowledge as well as resources, but also just creating, ways to make more together. And so I think, for me, part of that mission and what I'm so excited about is how can I, bring what I've learned in my journey thus far to emerging and young filmmakers here who are interested in directing and, telling stories. So how can I, offer them, anything that I've learned?
Now, what would you say? I mean, seeing as you've done trainings as well, and you still will, because I know you're going to do something with the CAP Studio
next week.
Lion, and his film show yesterday.
Yes,
Recall.
so good.
I know, I'm so excited about it. What would you say, in your knowledge and experience, is the biggest challenge a lot of young creators face in terms of wanting to just venture into this space? What is the biggest challenge that they often encounter?
I would say the biggest challenge that I'm finding is there's not a lot of opportunity to learn. If you step onto a set, there's sometimes this expectation that you just need to know what you're doing. But I think a lot of young filmmakers, you really need mentorship. You really need an opportunity to make mistakes so that you can really grow in your craft, because filmmaking is, it takes a lot of just collaboration, and you really need to know how to choose your collaborators, and also you need to be confident in what you're doing so that, as production, as we all know, nothing goes as planned.
No.
And so, but when you're confident in your skills that you have in your tool belt, then you can pivot and you can creatively, try to, exactly, that's the perfect word. So I think the thing that I find that they are sometimes lacking, and I know what I lacked as a young filmmaker, is just that practical knowledge and mentorship. So I always encourage people to find your mentors, find your people, if you want to be a cinematographer, find a cinematographer where you can just be a fly on the wall on their set and be a sponge and learn how do they, run their set, how do they work with a director. So that would be.
I think that's an incredible advice, actually, because I imagine the wealth of experience you get just by watching a person do what they do. Now, I'm almost stunned that this is your directorial debut, but you've been in the industry. So talk to me about how Really Love really came together and the journey that got you there.
Yes, so Really Love was my debut as a feature film director. And before that, I made a lot of shorts. I wrote and directed many shorts, but in a lot of industries, your first feature film is like your debut. And since, Really Love premiered at South by Southwest, it won an award for acting, I started directing television. So I've also been learning and growing as a director, working in the episodic space as well. So, it's sort of this thing where like you pop out and the expectation is that you've just arrived, but there's practice that we know comes before, and I'm still growing as a director. There's so much that I want to do. I want to make films in Nigeria. I want to tell love stories here. Yeah, so, I feel like we're always growing, and if you're not always growing as an artist, then there's something missing, I feel, at least for me.
Do you think it is ever going to, do you think it's possible to ever exhaust one's knowledge in this space? Like you say to yourself, you know what, I'm giving all that I can. Is that even possible in filmmaking?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I don't think so. I don't think so, because it's like every day is a new opportunity to tell another story. So I think the moment that you feel like you've exhausted or you've learned everything, you know everything, is the moment maybe you should do something else.
Right? So coming here, would you say you definitely have seen what you were looking out for in terms of like the fact that you directed a whole masterclass on you taught that, and you have seen people, you've had conversations. Would you say you found what you were, hoping to see in terms of the creative spirit and energy here?
Oh, absolutely. Yesterday was the final day of a 4-day masterclass. We brought them in. I invited, 4 really talented Nigerian actors to collaborate with these emerging directors and cinematographers, and they filmed a scene, 2 scenes actually, from my movie, and we watched them yesterday all together, and I actually cried because I was just so impressed with the talent and just how over the course of 3 days, they just listened, like, how do you talk to actors? How do you go to them and be really clear about your vision and allow them, create a space to be vulnerable with the character and the story? And you wouldn't believe like how the actors, and these are actors who are working. I mean, they came to me and they said, wow, these filmmakers, like, they really get it. And so, yes, that the talent that I expected is here, and it exceeds my expectations. So,
amazing. Well,
yeah.
You look amazing. I know you're heading over to
Thank you. I have to keep up with you.
You look great. I feel like this is the vibe. Now you're welcome to Lagos. Like, you are one of us, 100%.
Thank
Angel.
you.
Well, I gotta let you go. Thank you so much for joining me on the show, and well done.
Thank you for having me.
On a successful festival, and you're not done though. You have a lot more work coming up. So
yeah, thank you.
Enjoy your stay.